That was a bad Mrs. Doubtfire impression. Now, Mrs. Doubtfire for me is one of my favorite comedies, the favorite movies as a kid. When I watched it as a kid, I loved it then. I died out laughing. And now as an adult, it still holds up. I still laugh really and extremely hard. Now, Mrs. Doubtfire is one of those comedic classics for me because Robin Williams is kind of like in his prime in this movie. Now, he dresses up like a woman to help get closer to his kids. Now, a lot of movies have done that before, but not to the extent of this. Now, you got Martin Lawrence who dressed up like a woman, and you got Eddie Murphy that dressed up like a woman. But what this movie did, it had a good balance of comedy and a good balance of story. And that's what made Mrs. Doubtfire for me one of the best movies ever made as a kid for me. Now, the plot for this movie is how after a man gets divorced, he dresses up like a woman to get closer to his kids. And when you think about it, this movie stars Robin Williams, Sally Field, and a young 007 Pierce Brosnan. Every scene in this movie was die-hard hilarious when it came to Robin Williams dressing up as Mrs. Doubtfire. This movie is so funny. You got Robin Williams in his prime, dressing up like a woman and changing his voice and not even looking like Robin Williams when he's dressed up as Mrs. Doubtfire, makes it so hilarious. I just absolutely love this movie. From the funny dialogue to the jokes and even the slapstick humor, which is when it's done right, it's so great. And even the montage when he was dressed up like a woman going through cleaning up the house, stuff like that, that was hilarious. Now, like I said before, this movie has a lot of heart, a lot of story, and a lot of comedy. And it all blends well right together. Some better than the other movies that we've seen before now. This is well better than the Eddie Murphy movies and better than the Martin Lawrence movies because it misses the element of true great story. And actually, this movie is taken from a novel. Go figure. This movie, for me, like I said before, is just so hilarious. And nowadays, you know, with people dressing up like a woman, it's not as funny as it is back then because we never seen that before, like the way Robin Williams did it. Robin Williams did it so perfectly. And the way I think it works because Robin Williams knows how to do voices. And when he does voices, he's like comedy gold. And this is just a comedy classic in my opinion. When I saw this movie as a kid, I loved it. And even buying it on Blu-ray now, 20-something years later, for me, it still holds up. I absolutely love Mrs. Doubtfire. Now, this may be a little biased for me, but Mrs. Doubtfire was one of my favorite childhood movies as a kid. And when you have a childhood movie and it was so good, you tend to overrate it. But honestly, Mrs. Doubtfire for me gets 5 out of 5 stars, a true comedic kid family movie. I loved it as a kid and I love it now as an adult. If you haven't checked out Mrs. Doubtfire, it's not even, I advise you to check it out, and honestly for me, I don't think it's dated. I think the comedy still holds up to today's standards, but it's really a good comedy and I highly advise you guys checking it out. So, if you like this review, please rate, comment, subscribe, and until next time, Movie Nation.